Hi and welcome to another screencast in the Creating Sample Sets for Ground.org series. This time I will be doing sample cutting and resampling, picking up from the noise reduction we did last time. But first I'll show you just a quick layout of where I'm putting the exported samples. This will change in the future, but and it's not really that important. You can use whatever layout you wish, but I've done like this. So I have for the AB microphone set up a directory, and in that I have different sample directories. The noise directories I will likely separate out later from the pipe samples so that I have them separate. But for now, I just have them in the same main directory. Anyway, let's dive in. I will begin with the blower noise here. So I zoom in a little so that I get closer to the start of that, and then I move to the end somewhere here, like this. And now I can play back these and listen to if it's in the right position. And to facilitate things when moving between start and end of sample so that I don't lose this selection, I usually work with section labels. So I'll create one here that I name blower, like so. This means that I can adjust start and end and still keep the whole selection. So for instance, I can move the selection to the beginning and zoom in here, and then I can move this to a good place to start. With noise samples like this, it is not extremely critical, but anyway, we don't want too much excess in front, and we don't want to cut too close so that we lose transients. So that will be good. And then I'll check the end. Here I press the button and then it should kind of fade out. So you can experiment and see how much of the release tail you want to keep, and use your ears to decide for yourself. Another thing is that we hear that there is a bubble going on here. We might be able to remove this. So if I go into the spectrogram view, I can see that there are some artifacts happening that don't belong really. So here and here. And then it seems that basically nothing is happening here. So I think I could actually shorten this sample like this. But here, we might want to try to remove that bubble. And I change to a logarithmic view. And you see that it's embedded a bit into the noise here. So it won't be very, very easy to remove this. But we can try to remove or reduce it rather a little bit. Seems that there are some above it, like that. And I try to use the spectral parametric EQ for this. So that takes away some of it. And I could perhaps take away even more of it. And we can listen to how it... So here we have also more of that noise. It will be a bit difficult to remove this. Without it being very kind of obvious that we have been doing something with the audio here. So if you do this with pipe samples, you really need to be careful about it. And if possible, try to and the question then becomes, will this be audible? As an abrupt change, but I think it will actually work here, and I will anyway put on a fade here. So we could even try to do that right here. And I will so that I think will be perfect for that. So back to the waveform. Now I can just export this label, and normally I would have multiple labels that I export at once, but now I just have this blower, but it will work the same anyway. So I will put it AB blower noise like so, and I'll change the sample rate to 48,000 and it will be signed 24-bit, yes. And this is the trick, that I use the multiple files as and export due to labels and using the names of the labels. So when I do that, that file will end up in the blower noise directory as blower. Ready to use further. So that was that. So now I remove that label and I will show you for the key noises. Here they start. 1, 2, 3. No, this is something else. So that is nothing. And here we have. So that is not interesting. So from here we can start. And I usually select something like this, create a label and name it. And this is the release, and I will leave that for now. And instead I will, no matter how I do this, I seem to be in the way all the time. Ain't that funny? So, yeah, interesting. Where did that go? So, sometimes it helps to just do like this. Okay, now I got it back. It wasn't the position that was the problem. So next attack is here. And next here. Next we'll start here. And finally here. And then I need to fine-tune the start and end of each of these. And the help can be in the meter. When you see that it doesn't drop any further but has reached the kind of noise floor, then usually that means that you can cut at that point. But use your ears and determine what is actually the right place. And with noise effects like this, it is much less sensible or sensitive. Sorry. It's not that sensitive as with pipe samples. Yeah, that will work. And then to the next. That will work. that will work. So now I have a few key noise attacks ready. So I can just export them and I select the key noise directory and check that these are correct, multiple files from the labels, use the name and click export. And then I have all of them ending up right in that folder or directory. So now I got them here, and then I need to get the releases. So I will do like this, that I just take these and move the labels to the releases roughly at first. Like this. So that at least I don't need to write the names once again for them. Like so. And then I'll go back and fine tune each of them further. Sorry. Sometimes it does strange things. So this is a release. Seem to work pretty fine. Could cut it a bit shorter like that. Like that. Like so. Yeah, I think that will be fine. So I export all these as releases, changing the directory where I want them exported to, and then hit export. And now I have the main attacks and releases for the key noises done. So right now the only thing I haven't shown you is the main samples. And the stop noises. They are kind of in here. You have a stop noise release from the previous stop, and then you have the stop on, I think, here. And then we have a short release, a slightly longer release, and 2 attacks for each of these. And normally I would have tried to automate as much as possible, but since I have lots of things going on here, it's not that easy. So I will do some manual work still here. So this is a stop noise on, I can slightly zoom in, and then I'll mark that with a label, and this is Rörflöjt for on. Okay. And then we should have the off there, and for the next stop on here. So this is the off noise. And then I can just as well fine-tune them. Like so. And jump to the previous. Like so. And then I export them. This time to the stop noise directory. And get them there. You see that I have labeled them so that one is on and the other is off. So that is done. I can now choose the samples. Many times I try to use automation in the basic detection. In this case it won't help that much, but I usually do it like this, that I go into the sound finder and adjust the settings to give me the kind of result that I want. So now you can see that I have lots of things that I maybe don't want to have. Like here we have some kind of noise detector that I don't want to have, so I will remove that. Here we have something, a double hit that I don't want to have, so I will remove that. And otherwise seems to be 4 for each key. So now I will zoom in a little bit, like this. And these are releases, so I'm not interested in the actual attack part, so I will cut it short to where the release actually kind of begins. Perhaps like that. And then I will move to the next, and this is the same. This is also a release, a slightly longer though. So, and then move to the first attack. Seems to be okay. And checking its release. Seems to be pretty okay. Could perhaps be a bit longer. Yeah, something like that. And then to the next. The waveform is some indication, but it's best to listen. And use your ears. Okay, so here is a bubble. In the stream is also a bubble here, but that is very difficult to actually remove without it being so audible. You can see here in the spectrogram that the bubble is in here. But even if I would go here and kind of go in between the harmonics, it will be very difficult to remove that. And you hear that it does affect the tone a little bit. So it's very difficult to correct these without sacrificing something else. So again, if possible, make sure the room you are recording in doesn't have some fermenting beer in it, because it won't help the recording. Perhaps the bubble here at the end could be removed though. Maybe. Or rather suppressed. Somewhat. And that is good enough for me. And then I would do the same with all of these. The rest of them that I want to keep. And what I would do now is actually to export these maybe need to select like this. Okay, so export the labels. And I will put it in the same kind of demo. This is the reflate. I will just put it here for now, like so. And this is actually a text file. That contain timing and a label, the label name. So here one could just go in like this and put 048-C. And since I know that these should be 4 of them, can do like that, and then is next. I actually have a program written, but it's a command line tool that does this for me. But most people won't be comfortable using a command line tool, so I won't bother showing you that. Yeah, I could just copy it like the same. Like this. And then these are the shorter sustain files. Like so. And next is a problem that the 2 first of each note is releases. So they actually, I need to create more files here. So I will just cut out the first from each of these. Like so. This is extremely much faster when actually using some command line tools to help you manipulate the files, but it's possible to do still like this, and you can of course do it completely manually in Audacity instead. So now you'll see I get the slightly longer releases in a separate file. Like so, and I will save this, and I will put it, yeah, it was here, music. And this is short. And this is staccato. And this will be, once I have it fixed, like this. I will save this as sustain. like so. Again, I have tools for making this much more convenient. But what we can do now is to import the labels. For instance, the staccato versions, like so, and then I export them to Rörflöjt 4, the shortest release folder, multiple files, the settings are correct, so export them like that, done. And then I import the short and export to the other release folder, like so. And then finally import the sustain files and export them to the main stop folder, like so. So now I have all the Rörflöjt and I don't need these kind of labels, except that I only checked the first note, actually, remember. But for time saving I didn't do everything, but I showed you how to perform the cutting and some extra cleaning even of the samples. So that's basically it, I think, for this screencast. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.